Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter Igaga, and we're here at the Hilton Garden Inn on your favorite show, and that is Men. Now, for you to know that this show listens to you, you talk to us. We first had a show talking about size where men are concerned. Does it really matter? And we had gents here, and they all said, no, it doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, the opinion was, it depends on how the tool is used. So we said, let's put the men aside. But because the show is men, we still have to have men. And we brought a lady. Aggie, welcome to the show.
My pleasure.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
You're the only lady seated in the corner on the set. Do you feel like this is an attack?
No.
Yeah. You can handle your business.
Absolutely.
Fantastic, fantastic. Good to have you here. So let's just dive straight into it. But before I come to you, I'll start with Chris. Chris, is the size of the wand what is used to direct the music well, or is it the way the wand is waved? Basically, is it how the tool is used?
So out of Ugandan context. Someone is wondering, what's that? No, I think I still maintain that size really does not matter. Mm-hmm. Because I think essentially what we would be saying is that God, in creating some men, he made some mistakes. Like there is factory rejects, right? And in truth, there is no factory reject. Every man comes out perfectly built. The Bible talks about the fact that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah. All puns intended.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
So no, we're perfect. We're fine. There's no man who's, when we're younger, I listen to that debate, and sometimes you privately get a ruler and see does
you actually mentioned
I was as a
all
kid.
boys have done that.
Yeah, I mean, at least I did.
I've never
Because you've heard about all these things, and I was so worried about it. So I get married, and it didn't matter.
Yeah,
it didn't matter what the size was. It actually mattered more what I was about. A recent conversation I had with my wife, stop to think about it. Men are thinking mostly performance, sexual performance, and women are thinking affection. Mm-hmm. Actually, it doesn't matter your size as a guy if you are taking care of your lady. Really.
Okay. Stefan. Mm-hmm. Chris has made it look so simple. Okay. That women only want affection, and then the rest falls into place. Isn't it a fact that if you cannot sexually satisfy your woman, she's very likely to get it from somewhere else?
It's not a fact. You're putting a blanket statement out there and saying that women will fool around if they don't get satisfied. Mm-hmm. That's what you're saying. But when you talk about size, I'll re-emphasize what I said last time. Mm-hmm. And the words I kept using was conditioning. Mm-hmm. Women are conditioned to think that size matters. Mm-hmm. But in essence, size does not matter. It's actually very crude to think that size matters. He said it, we are born perfectly. Like you're born like that, and that is your member.
There's a reason.
There is no way you can change it. And for women to think
you can change it.
Peter who's right.
There are a lot of Chinese herbs and spices which can be used to elongate. Not that I know from experience.
You're in that group that says since Uganda girls pull, you should also pull.
No. Okay, I'll get to that.
I honestly,
because that is going very close to what I was about to ask her. But yes.
But I honestly think that size doesn't matter. For as long as you can get her to reach her peak, which includes so many things. It includes being affectionate, whispering certain things. And I said it last time. One who will encourage self-pleasure. You know, if you don't know where your G spot is,
Find it.
don't expect me to look for
Let
it.
it be on record that that's where we part company.
Yeah. Listen, you know, I think
Self-pleasuring.
it's very unfair. You know, I think they I think God can allow it if it is done in a Christian way, right?
No,
But I think honestly,
that's called masturbation.
yeah,
simple
masturbation, yeah.
You're calling it a self-pleasure. It's masturbation.
You know, when you put it like that, it sounds bad.
It is.
Huh?
It is.
This is not bad.
The idea is to get your partner to help you explore. The whole idea is
A woman's
let the
ana-
other have the power to bring pleasure to you so that there's codependence.
Now listen, a woman's anatomy is so diverse. I don't think even as women, as females, they understand their own anatomy.
You don't?
For you to, for
I
you
like
to think,
the fact that you're
She's
speaking
right
on
here.
behalf of
for you
all
to
the
think
women,
that
right?
a guy, a man who has been conditioned to think that longevity is how he can pleasure a woman. For you-
Longevity meaning
like
length of
lasting
time.
longer, you know, lasting longer
Okay.
as
Those
enduring
are two
sex.
different things.
I honestly think that my point is the same. Size. does not
Longevity, he meant
Okay.
length.
Yes.
matter.
First of all, you have a female representative of all the women here who seems to have figured it out about women.
Yeah, I've been here. I've been
That's
here
what
for a
I'm
minute.
saying.
Okay. Now, research shows that 80% of women have never experienced an orgasm during sex, which is a very disturbing statistic. Could it be because of size?
Well, if it's about reaching orgasm, I really do not think it's about size. Like you said, there's so many things you can do usually that you do first before you actually get to the main thing that you have to do.
Yeah.
So I think it doesn't really it doesn't matter at all. But size does matter to an extent, and on the other extent it doesn't. Depending on the relationship. I think it depends on the relationship you have.
So
If
there's
it's
some
about
women-
marriage,
there's some
if
women
it's
who
about
prefer long
marriage-
ones.
If it's about marriage,
Not married doesn't
Hey,
matter.
listen to the lady. You be gentlemen. Yeah, please speak up.
if it's about marriage, I believe there's so much. Marriage has a lot of aspects, not just the sex and reaching the peak. Women need affection, they need you to provide for them. There's really so much. It's not just sex. But if the relationship is just about we're having fun, we're not really committed, it really matters a lot. It really matters a lot.
Yes.
Why? I
Just
think size
Yeah.
comes hand in hand with satisfaction. That's what I think. And
Quick
most men-
satisfaction.
and that is why most men are very insecure. I think that's why we're even talking about this. Men who think their size is not to the extent that it should be, are very insecure about it. And that's why
I'd like to ask a clarifying question.
that's why they go into enhancement and all those things, because you also actually believe
So
that
you said you think it matters.
yes, to an extent it
To
matters,
an
and to
extent,
yeah.
So does it actually matter to you?
Me personally,
Have you had sex before? No,
but I'll tell you what. Yeah.
this is not personal.
authority here.
Yeah.
Yes, no.
But no,
Because,
you're the same
and
one
this is
saying
why.
that
This is why.
Yeah.
This is why. She's speaking from a point of what she thinks, not necessarily from what she experienced.
Yeah.
And I think that this matter is absolutely very relative. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because Peter, have you said that this is mature audience?
Yes.
Can I just say?
It's 11:20 p.m.
Okay,
so it's fine.
all
Yeah.
right. Okay, so let me just let's just talk about this marriage stuff and things. You see, the point at which in the process of making love, the point at which a guy is introduced, for the lady, matters, because the gusto with which a guy comes in is because size is not what you see, it's what a lady feels.
True.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's what a lady feels. So when the guy comes in is what matters the most. If he's done the foreplay well, right? And she's near the peak and he comes in at that point, the perception of size, listen to me, Peter.
Okay.
Because I'm bold enough to say these things and you're ducking, so let me say that. Okay? What I'm saying is it matters when a guy is introduced to the lady in the
initial stages.
In the act, no, not initial stages. You've had the foreplay and all that. She's nearing her peak, almost ready. If a guy comes in at that point, the perception of size, just because of the gusto of how he's introduced in there, the perception is that the size is big. And it doesn't matter whether what you have is like a log and it comes in much earlier and you lose the strength of your erection, you are going to be willy when it matters the most. And I promise you,
I'll tell you what.
You don't get it?
No,
Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what Chris is saying. And I'd like to hear from you.
I'm saying it's down to skill.
But however, and I need to hear it from a lady's perspective, aren't there times when a woman, and again, if you're below 18, Shauriako, you shouldn't be here. Aren't there times when all a woman wants is, pardon my language, is just a bang? Don't want all the foreplay and all that. Just get to it.
It's not actually only the woman. There are times when you don't actually go through foreplay. You know that?
That's true.
Yes. So now, if you do not do the foreplay, what happens about the size?
So my question
So if the size is not good enough.
But that's the point listen, the point I'm making is this. Size doesn't really matter. It's about what you're doing.
But you will not do foreplay all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So my point is this.
But I have a rebuttal to that one, to what you've just said right now.
Just before we get to you, can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
And I believe, and I could be wrong, it's the ladies to tell us. Now, there is a point of stimulation on a woman's, which is very close to the top, called the clitoris. Now, friction
Says
on the
Peter, who's been around.
No.
many
This
times.
is biological. This is biology.
Aha.
This is all biology. This is all
I
biology.
see Peter ducking.
This is all
Go
biology.
on.
Now, the reality is, the bigger the size, the higher the chance of the friction. Now, the smaller the size. So, in other words,
the erection.
No. In other words,
Seriously,
if
Peter, where did you
are
come
this size and you
There's
are
no one who is
a
this size when they erect. That's a P2 kid. P2 kid. Are you guys serious? Have you ever seen anyone who's like this when they erect?
Yes, go
They don't
to
exist.
There are certain people, and I'm not going to say what, of certain
Those
races.
guys are sick.
No, they're not.
No,
Who
no
you
one
see
is
them at
erect
the-
when they're like your
at
P2
the steam
kid.
bar.
There are people like that.
But let's not get it.
That's not
We
true.
will not get like
We're
that.
not
Has
going
any
to
of us
start
ever
profiling
seen any of
people.
them?
Me, I've seen. What do you
Me, I've seen you go to
I have
the,
seen.
yeah, you go for
What?
You know,
steam.
Like this small?
All right, let me just put it like this. When we
Even pygmies don't make it that way.
When you play rugby and you go for a shower after rugby, okay, it's an open shower, okay, you all go in, you take a shower, nobody's hiding
And
anything.
you're busy peeping, eh?
It's there, I mean, it's there. You talk, you go into the shower and start squeezing like this.
I don't look, I don't
there's nothing wrong. But if this is your P2 is, and P2 has very many
Peter,
meanings.
Peter,
But-
I don't know. Like, I wish we had a medical doctor on this show. There is no guy who is erect and they're like your small little pinky. I wish we had a medical doctor here.
Is it a
Have you ever
possibility?
seen that?
They are
I haven't encountered
There you
anyone
go.
like
But
that.
you've
But
heard
there
of
could
it?
be some of them. Yes.
But no,
Yes,
that's
there
absolutely
could be.
abnormal.
So let me say.
Guys,
one
do you know what an
thing.
erection
let
is
me,
like?
Let me say one thing. You know,
Google your
Are you
friend.
guys
we are
serious?
coming
May
into
Google
this
your friend.
argument. We're coming from this argument. You know, she said that you said something in the like
You
that
won't always have foreplay.
yeah,
There's
you
times
never
when
have
you
that.
cannot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She's
Never.
never. It said sometimes.
Sometimes.
In fact, that's the reality for most women. They never.
If you are sleeping with one individual, if you've been sleeping with one person for a very long time, the female organ, genitalia, will what's the word?
Contract.
Will contract to that
to accommodate.
person's size.
Yes.
to that person's size. So when you argue that there's a time when you're banging, I don't know, there's no foreplay, that means that there's a chain of other men. That,
Now, before we get railroaded here, we have to go into a break. We are here at the Hilton Garden Inn asking the pertinent question, does size matter for men?
Doesn't matter.
According to the two gentlemen here, it doesn't
I'm going to
matter.
explain it.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back from the break. In case you've just joined us, you are just in time to send your kids to go and sleep. Why? Because we're having a very mature discussion about size and does it matter for men. Now, gentlemen, like it or not, it's a fact. There are some people who have small members. We are not all the same.
Yeah, that one I understand.
Peter, a pinky erect does not exist
2.7
in your
inches.
mind.
This is actually,
You know,
this
we
is
should be
That
asking
is
the
a
lady.
sick person.
You should be asking the lady.
She's not. She hasn't slept with the whole world. Why are you? This is a noble.
Not-
Serious.
not-
This is a noble, honorable girl. Why are you?
I'm not saying
What
that
she has to tell you all this stuff.
I have knowledge
I'm
about
saying-
certain things that I've
Oh,
never
so
done.
she does.
I don't know. She's here. Let her
she's
tell
a
us.
lady.
Why do you
She's a
guys want to
female.
ruin people's lives?
Back to my question. Will size help a woman reach her peak? Because there are different kinds of orgasms, okay? But we are talking about penile orgasm. Will size help her reach that?
I think if it's a bigger size, then you actually do less work than when it's smaller. When it's
You guys,
yes.
the statistics say that
Yes.
80% of women don't reach their peak. Do you know why? Because they think that it is the size.
If you have a smaller size, trust me, you have to do a lot more work.
Did you hear? That's what she thinks.
But
You
hasn't
people-
it, doesn't
you
it go
people-
back
no,
to what I
Peter,
say?
so-
Biology?
Can I help you here? I know that for different people, indeed the length of a guy's organ varies.
Yes.
So there is size
And there's a reason for
in
that.
terms of
Length,
when
width?
erect, like circumference,
Yeah.
different from depth. Okay?
Or the gap.
Whatever, length. All right? Now, here's how God created us, and this is what's so beautiful about God. Do you know that there are positions of making love where if one would want to feel a deep thrust, if a lady wants to feel a deep thrust, positions help.
But, that,
Let
but
me
so you're
finish,
saying what
Peter.
she's saying.
That's what, no, listen.
So you
It
have to
is-
work harder.
What I'm saying, no, it's not harder. Skill, Peter.
Yeah.
Go to school.
skill
Guys,
varies.
school, skill. So you get to find out what positions work, and you're going to find that there's some ladies who cannot stand deep thrust because it affects their cervical opening,
Cervical
and
wall.
it's very irritating to them. So the thing is that when you have a partner, what they like varies. There is no uniform anything. In fact, you may find that if you know, back in school, we used to tease guys and say that they are dinkas. You know, it was said that the Sudanese come from here up to the knee,
Luo,
which
Luo.
isn't true. Which isn't true. But that was boys being mean.
Yeah.
But there's points where that's not, it's of no interest, because what happens if your partner prefers shallow thrusts? So here's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Peter, here's what I want to say. What really matters is skill, 1, 2, communication.
Communication. Yeah.
Because the pleasure that comes from a man making love to his wife is not about the physics of up, in, out, in, out, in, out. That's P2. That's actually how we used to think in S1. But if you really, Peter, if we are on national TV and we do not want to spread poison to the Ugandans
But you
and
know-
others listening, what we honestly need to say, it's skill.
I'll tell you what,
and
Chris,
communication
Chris, you see,
and
I'll
connection.
tell you what.
That's what really matters.
Yeah, okay.
Can I say something? You know, skill varies with different individuals, and the
Yeah,
reason
it's-
why I'm saying this is because different women are created differently.
That's
not
why.
universal.
That's
No,
why you
listen to the
get
man.
one
Let
and
me,
learn.
let me finish. Yeah,
That's the problem.
you get one
And you learn.
Which, when it comes from your space, well and good. But the people who are meandering, you know, I'm talking for everyone.
You're talking for the
I'm
meanderers.
talking for everyone.
I can't help those
And
ones.
thank you, and I love that. Women, you know, you say that we are spreading poison. Women have been fed this poison from time immemorial, that size matters. A guy, any guy that you ask out there, what makes them think that they are good in bed? They will tell you that they last longer. Like, you know, a guy always wants to last longer. You know, a guy might even, you know, thrust for the whole night, and the woman might not even reach her peak. The reason why she will not reach her peak is because of the female anatomy. You understand? Yeah, you know, our producer is making noise the other side. But listen, women, and I said it last time here, women don't understand their anatomy. For women,
So you say women don't know what they want?
They don't know what they want. Basically, they don't know. For a woman to reach her peak, it involves stimulation of the what? Of the clitoris.
Not only.
Not only. But penetration is the least, I think the last.
Jalo, can I just say?
Just
You've just displayed how much skill you have.
There's nothing like skill. Let me ask you, when you say that a man has skill, what do you mean?
Stefan, I think it would be good to hear from the lady. Is what the man saying true? I think the only person who knows
no, don't
where...
Don't think. Let her answer the question. No, Peter, this time no. Don't plant your idea, we refuse.
I'm not planting any idea.
Wait, let her answer first.
Yes.
Whether what she thinks it's true or not. Just stop there.
What is it true? What I've said. Plain and simple.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know, I say that, you know, women don't know what they want.
That women don't know what they want.
But
Does it only a woman know where her G-spot is?
I don't think so. Most of us actually do not know.
Thank you.
Yes. Most of us do not know.
Yeah.
But then we are talking about, you talked about something like you have to learn.
How am I supposed to learn if you don't
hold
know
on a
where it
minute.
is?
So if you said you as a man, and that is how you get to satisfy them, that the size doesn't matter, you just have to learn how they feel. So if you have to learn what to do, then you have to learn where the G-spot is. You have to know how to
And you
reach
don't know
the
where it
ears.
is.
It's not
Peter,
my
let me tell
obligation
you.
to know that.
No one.
It's
You
not
see.
my obligation to know
So
that.
Jalo, let me ask you a question. Do you know where your medulla oblongata is? All right. So we went to school, we studied the brain and God knows what. Can you touch exactly where, I don't know, that the site place is in the brain? You don't, but you have the brain, okay? So this is the whole thing. And
Completely.
This
Those
is
are
what,
not the
you know,
same.
when you read the book Song of Songs, right, in the Bible. So I like the Bible, it has everything. Solomon writes about the love relationship between him and the Shulamite and the process. And so by the time you discover some of those places, you've discovered each other. And it's more like, okay, that's good. No, you're going off. And so when you discover that place, that's the one, stay right there. Okay?
But that is the place.
But it's discovery. It's discovery. So it's okay for the lady not to know, and you discover together, and then you become the guy who knows the place.
Just wait. But
One second. Let me just, I don't want to lose my chain.
Don't worry, you won't. One second.
Because this,
One second. But you see, one of the just the same way, I mean, we have to acknowledge the fact that not all men are the same size.
Yeah.
There are some who are bigger than others. There's a reason for it. Also, women are not the same size. There are some who are bigger than others. And I dispel, I don't know their names.
Size doesn't matter.
No, but I dispel the myth that he was saying that it will contract. So if it was big...
What do you mean?
No,
Do you know something called Kegels? You know something that's called Kegel? A Kegel? A Kegel is an
PC
exercise.
muscle exercises.
Yeah. You understand?
Not a Kegel.
Yeah, Kegels.
Yes.
Kegels. So for you to see that it does not contract, they give back. What do you mean?
Do you know the use of Kegels, my friend?
Yeah,
It's
for
to
contraction.
strengthen.
Yeah.
No, it's strength. Kegels strengthen the vaginal muscles. Okay.
Guess what? You're both right. Because
But we're not talking about
Exactly.
the
You're both right.
You
So what's
say
the
that
problem?
it does not contract.
No, it will not contract on its own just to fit. So the man is
It
like
will-
this.
listen,
It's going to
come on.
and
If
unfortunately,
you have-
she's the
if
size
you-
of like
if you
this.
have
So it's
sex-
gonna come on.
If you have sex with one individual, if you have sex, trust you me, the muscles are used to your size. And another guy, let me tell you what, and you know, and it's a trick. And you know, if you ask so many ladies out there, they'll tell you that when they have sex with another individual, for the husband not to know, they're advised to do what? To do kegels. It is known out there for.
I didn't know. I'm learning.
Yeah, you're learning. But I'm telling you this.
I don't know very much about cheating women and all that.
Yeah,
So I
fortunately,
can't speak into that. But here is what I know.
I can't believe
What
this.
I know is that God created every man
Perfectly.
and
yes.
every woman perfect, and anyone able to fit with the other. That's why the biblical instruction is not go and try all the girls and find who
How
you
do
fit
know
with.
which- how do you know which
No,
one
no, no, no.
is?
How you do it is you choose. Out of the many, whatever your criteria is, beautiful,
Okay,
smile,
let
God
me-
knows
let
what.
me
Let me
give you-
finish.
Okay.
You'll tell me your cheating ones you'll talk about.
No, I'm not
Yeah, I'm
talking
telling
cheating
about the ones I know in the Bible. So then you decide, you choose one out of many, right?
Out of many.
And so what happens is you become compatible. How? By both of you talking about what works for the other. And you get to a point where you settle at, you basically know each other. But even let me tell you what is so interesting about this thing. God made women so difficult to understand and nail down that
No, you'll never
even if you said, yesterday this one is what worked. You touch here, you press here, you touch it, they give you a slap. Like, what are you doing? Like, I thought it worked. Like, no, that was yesterday. Today it's passing here. So the point is that there's a journey of continual discovery. It's not cram work. So if you go with your cram work, Peter Mbu size, it will not help you.
I'll tell you what, I believe
That's
there's
scrum
nothing
work.
wong with being small as a man.
There's nothing
There's
wrong.
nothing wrong with
Do you know
being
what
big.
you're
Why
saying?
do you
Size
spend
doesn't
months?
matter.
No, listen.
Skill, art, connection, that's what
I'm saying,
matters.
because everybody's
Okay,
given their own
basically,
package.
what
You're giving your
women
own
are saying,
package. Yeah.
what women are saying is that with a bigger size, it's an added advantage.
They
No.
like it.
Yes, it
With a
is.
smaller
It is.
size,
If you do not
it is
know,
added
guys
advantage.
are you
That's what
women?
I'm saying.
If
That's
you
what
are not
she's saying all this
experienced
time.
and you do not know about different positions, it is another advantage. But if you are experienced, if you have explored
Oh, so you guys are
different
women.
positions,
So you agree
So where
with
do
me?
you
Yeah?
get?
no, I don't agree with you. I'm saying what I'm saying. Size doesn't. It's a different positions. So big moves, small moves, not hard work. There's no hard work.
Said,
You're
It
enjoying
matters.
yourself.
If you try to put your bucket in a well, even from that side, this size,
It depends how you approach the
listen,
bucket.
You
it's
just
not
hit it on the
size,
side.
wait, skill does not matter. Let me tell you one
look.
thing. The woman needs to know her anatomy, and I will emphasize.
You are a lazy man. Let
No.
me just say it right
Men
now.
are lazy in bed. Let me tell you what.
So you should stop being lazy.
No, I'll say this. There is no man who is actually poor in bed. It is impossible for man to be poor in
So
bed.
it's always
Let
the
me-
woman's problem.
Women are the ones at fault. Let me tell you why. And I've said it numerous times. A man comes in the bedroom with the skill that we have been conditioned. We come in the bedroom
So you
to
don't-
last longer.
you-
Let
you
me
don't
finish.
adjust.
Let me
Just let him
finish.
finish.
Let me finish. And I've used this analogy so many times.
Jalo, can I
Can I
finish?
finish? Can I finish? Can I finish, my dear? Men, you know, and I've compared sex to cutlery. Said it, I think you've heard it before.
No, I haven't heard you say this kind of stuff.
Listen.
I'm shocked.
A man is like cutlery. You as a woman, if you in your village, they only taught you how to use your hand and maybe a spoon, that's your problem. A guy comes in and it's the one place, and I've told women, it's the one place that women need to be in charge. And the reason why I say this is because of the different picks. A guy will even get in a second and get, and he reaches his peak. If you don't know how to use a fork, if you don't know how to use a knife, if you don't tell your guy this is what I want, if you don't tell your guy this is how I want you to do it, then it's your problem. A guy cannot be
just
in bed.
before-
Two things I want to say.
Yeah.
It's simple
I
as that.
am sure that there's some ladies watching who want me to slap you on your behalf. This man has you're not using your brain.
No, I'm using my
Because
brain.
here's the thing. If it's supposed to be her to develop your skill, why did God put that thing between your legs?
Listen,
How lazy can you be?
My thing is outside. Look,
they serve you.
My guy is outside.
They serve you food.
That guy is a well.
They serve you food.
Find out.
Right? And then they have to teach you how to eat it.
Okay, I'll tell
Are
you.
you serious?
Guys, listen.
Who raised you?
No, but Chris.
These are men who are not
No,
fathers.
let me tell you one thing. Yes. I'll tell you one thing in his defense, and you know I rarely do that.
No, you always do that. But
And
go on.
always says that, you know.
One of the facts that we have to acknowledge, and it's very important for the young men and boys out there, hopefully they're not watching this show, is a lot of boys, as they transition to men, are not taught how to have sex.
Thank you.
So they go in, they don't know. As he mentioned, they go by
Just
what
like
they learn
Jalu,
from
they
their
don't
peers.
know. You just come and present your member.
You say that
and
you
you,
know.
you face the
You
wall.
are the one who was told that.
We have to go into a break. As we
skills.
talk about size, we're here at the Hilton Garden Inn having a chat about whether size really matters. Don't go anywhere. We need to hear from you. Let's continue this conversation on Twitter and Facebook. Our handle is NTV Men on Facebook and at NTV Men UG on Twitter. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back from the break. You are just in time if you've joined us to understand whether size really matters. Now, before the two of you bite off each other's heads, okay, Aggie, do women find it appealing? I mean, you've seen those guys who wear tight jeans. I mean, what do they look at? The package, right?
Why are you planting ideas?
Is that one of the things that women find attractive?
Yes, and actually, when you look on social media, usually I've encountered pictures of a guy probably in shorts or something there, that swimming pool, and ladies are commenting. If it's not protruding, if it's not, they're not seeing anything, they'll be like, wow, it's too small, something like that. And then if it's big, they'll be very, very, very interested. I've seen that a lot in comments on social media. So that means that actually ladies are interested in the size. They think the size really matters.
They think?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's just even about thinking, but maybe they've experienced it. I'll actually say something. If you've been in I don't think we've all ended up with the first person we dated before.
Some people have.
Some have, like I said, all, not all of us, yes. So if you were in a previous relationship and the man, had his thing was big, I'll term it like that, and then you encounter this one. I think actually at the first encounter, when you look at them, you're like, wow.
What have I done?
Even before anything goes on, you'd be already disappointed. Even before, that means the size really matters. It's in our head.
So let me just ask a question. Just two questions, if you can
You
allow
said a
me.
question? No,
Two,
there are two.
two.
Okay.
Number one, is what you've just said from experience or you're thinking it?
Why you keep going
I know why I'm asking my question.
Okay, it doesn't have to be personal experience, but
It's
do
what
have
you
friends
think.
and acquaintances who
Okay,
told me
so
that.
who talk like that, okay?
Yes.
I had a guy who, when he was in school, he was the player at school. He told all his friends how he had slept with this girl, that girl, the other girl. And so he encouraged many of his friends to go have sex, before they got married. And so a few years later, they were already left university, they were at work, right? And then this guy calls his friends and he says, guys, guess what? He calls his friends and says, finally, it has happened. They say, what has happened? I finally slept with her. They're like, what?
So men lie.
All along,
Yes, men lie.
you were talking about this thing like you hadn't done it before. So here's free advice, very free.
Yes.
Do not take the advice of people who are chitty-chatting in the loose and at parties. You are going to pick poison that is not useful. So,
Okay.
I would like.
I feel like
Can I
defending
finish?
this lady
Can I
tonight.
finish? I would like to encourage you
To first
to
experience.
talk to experienced women like our producer and others who will tell you what works and what doesn't. Because when we were all younger, we had fantasies. When we were all younger, we had fantasies, And when we got there, we discovered those things were
But
not
Chris,
true. Size
all
does
honesty,
not matter, I tell
Chris,
you.
in all honesty, before you discount her testimony, I keep saying,
Testimony.
yes, you are not the majority.
Peter, what do you mean majority?
It is a fact.
So,
What
so,
she
so
has
you know
said
what my
happened.
size is? What are you saying majority?
I'm
Majority
talking
what?
about people who experience. You say that these people talk about these things and yet they don't know what they are talking about.
Exactly.
Ah, come on.
Listen.
Anyway, she had you said you had a second point.
Sorry?
You had a second point. Or he railroaded you. Let me tell you what. And I believe, okay, if that's what women want, that's what they want. We cannot, Chris, we can't sit here and discount it. Now, you can imagine, nobody's discounting the issue of skill, and I need to be very clear about that. Skill is very important, but I believe the combination of both is a perfect match.
I told you when you introduce the member. Peter.
Peter, I was saying,
My gosh,
if
where were
really
you
size
born?
doesn't matter. Why I do not. What's the fuss about enhancement? And men are going after those things. Really, you know,
Because
yeah.
it is
yes,
an
yes, that
industry.
means
Have you
you
done
don't actually
enhancement?
just
How can I-
believe
It
it.
is
an
That
enhancement.
means you do not just
Even if
actually
I had, I would
believe
not
it.
say
You have
it.
experience.
So here's the thing. Hollywood has told women that you must be pencil thin in order to be beautiful. Some girls are dying, right? Are starving to death because they are believing Hollywood's lie. You ask most average Ugandan men, do they think beauty is pencil thin? No.
Peter, after you're done with
No,
all this,
isn't it?
let me tell you this.
So that's the problem. The thing is that if the media is pushing a line, you see, if you tell a lie long enough, it begins to sound like the truth. Size does not matter. God would have created you big if big was what made it. But your size is okay, brother. I'm encouraging you, don't go for enlargement, don't use rulers, don't enlarge. You are fine, you will do well. Listen to the woman you marry. What she tells you, do it consistently, you will learn, and they'll be saying you are the couple. Forget this stuff. This doesn't work.
I love when Chris, says all these things. When I'm talking, he wants to punch me. But when it's his time to speak, he agrees with everything I'm saying. I love that. But at the end of the day, I think me and Chris have the same, we agree that, size honestly does not matter. It all boils down to society. Society has conditioned women to think that it matters, and that's why they will go for the biggest
But
member.
if that's what they like, why are you stopping
and
them
let
from
me
liking
finish.
it?
I'm talking about conditioning. That is what, if you are told, he said it, that beauty is a pencil thin woman.
Yeah.
For the longest time, women have tried to be small. They're putting on weaves. African men don't like them, but they're putting them on.
Wow.
But let me, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if you look at the mathematics around this, the biology around this, 80% of women are not reaching their peak because their anatomy is different. They need stimulation. They need someone to whisper to them, certain things. You need to understand how she feels. You need to tell her certain things for her to reach that.
No, I know. I've been told by some women that they just need to hear my voice. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Which women? I thought you have one woman.
No, they say that. It doesn't mean I do anything about it. But
I see Peter climbing out of the hole.
My man,
yeah. Ranji, welcome.
I think my men, you have a problem. I think you are defending your members.
Yeah, exactly.
Because since the other episode, I did some questions with women. In fact, you will be surprised that most women, some women would prefer a bigger size. In fact, that is their preference. But when they marry us with our size, they accommodate us, they adjust us with us. And then they learn how to do with what they have.
Aggie just said that.
Now, from Chris's perspective, marriage is, sex is for marriage. So you are going to the act. You have never done it before, and therefore you learn with the partner that you have. She has also been a virgin. We are assuming from the religious perspective. So she doesn't know other sizes, isn't it? So you explore together, and therefore you master how to use what? you have. But if we go to Jaluo's side,
The cheater's side.
Which is the majority?
where there are men and women,
The real man.
Finish the man.
I'm not a treat. He's calling me a treat.
No, I am not calling
You know,
you
I
cheat.
sleep in a house. I don't want to sleep in the street.
Okay, so Jalu, if there are those women who have experienced small, medium, large, extreme large,
Yeah.
and then you come with your small finger like this, they will really be wasting time. So why does size matter to women? Because most of the men actually are just rushing to do the job and go away. So the bigger the size, the circumference, the more the stimulation, and therefore
The circumference, right?
Yes, the circumference. And therefore
Not the length.
Not the length.
even the length also matters, because if it is too short, it may not reach, it may not reach where it's
Reach
supposed
where?
to.
Reach
You
where?
man, you man.
So
Let me tell you.
in your thinking, do you factor in sexual positions?
Yes, I have factored in
Okay.
all those ones.
And,
However,
and they still come short, in your opinion?
from the ladies I spoke to, they still come short. However,
They've
my
not met
position
good men.
My position is, once you commit in a relationship, you can't begin dreaming about other men's size.
Thank you.
Therefore,
Thank you.
You work with the Chris that you have, whether he's small or big, you
Why are you laughing?
perfect
Why are you
how to
laughing?
shoot that one, and then you reach orgasm. I think that is the position.
He's saying don't want
So,
a
that
Jalu when
was-
you have Chris.
That was Banji, our resident social scientist, with very insightful words.
No, no.
I'll tell you what.
Are you shutting me down, or
No, I'm
can I
not
say
shutting
what
you
I'm
down.
saying?
I'm not shutting you down. Okay, please go
Okay.
ahead.
So thanks to Banji's hologram. but you know, guys, at the end of the day, size doesn't matter, because having had Banji going round and round in circles, this is what it comes down to. If someone knows what they are doing, size doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, what you want is to bring pleasure to each other in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask, would you choose between big size and orgasm if you are married? I'm just assuming. Would you go for big size or orgasm?
Big size will bring the
Hey,
orgasm.
I am asking her.
No, we actually do have
No,
to
no,
wrap
can
up.
she answer? At least.
Yes, I will. Definitely, I'll go for orgasm, right? But, like I said earlier, the bigger the size, the lesser the work you have to do,
trust
and you
me.
will get there fast.
But listen,
before-
I want to be
Okay,
very.
guys, we
I
are
want to be
actually
very.
out of time, so I'm going to need you to give us.
I'm going to
your,
be very-
your parting
Your
shot.
parting
And that's
shot.
your
Okay.
parting shot.
Okay, I'm going to be very practical. You know, if women are insisting on size, this is an organ that contracts.
And expand.
Baby, the way
It contracts and it expands. This is an organ that, you know, and I'm going to be very vivid, that women give birth, understand? And it can expand, you understand? So if you're talking about size, like guys would be having like the biggest member for women to reach their peak. It all boils down with what your woman, you know, wants in regards to reaching her peak. It might just be, you know, touching her ear. It might be stimulation on a different level. Listen,
it might be a
talk,
big.
talk to your man, talk to your woman. Ask her what
parting
she
shot,
wants.
you know that,
You know, communication is very important, you know, and he emphasized on that. You know, size to me, honestly, because if you want size, God will give you, now, you know, the first time I've mentioned God will give you a man, and you've been conditioned in your head that you need a bigger guy with a bigger member. You will fool around. Work with what you have.
All right.
Simple
great
as that.
stuff. Chris, your parting shot.
So, gentlemen, sex is here. The biggest sex organ is the mind. It's here.
True.
If you want to be big here.
Thank you.
Go to school, learn,
Thank
read up, research, grow your skill, listen to the lady that God has given you. Commit yourself to bringing pleasure to her. Her orgasm matters because God wanted both of you to have an orgasm. Let that be your goal, right? Size, it doesn't matter. If she's having the orgasm like she said, you know you're doing well. So just go for that
All right.
the whole time.
And your parting shots.
Yes, for me, I'll still maintain my stance. Like I said earlier, it still matters the relationship, the point in the relationship. If it's about marriage, the size will not matter at all. If we're having fun, the size will really matter at all times actually. And having a big size is an added advantage. Who doesn't want an added advantage? Everyone does.
Great stuff. So you're rooting for a combination of size and skill.
Yes.
So that leaves skill down to number 2 and size number
these
1.
women are so
Now we
confused.
are here at the Hilton Garden Inn and we have just wrapped up the second part of the episode of Does Size Matter? Does size matter to you? I think, and I stand to be corrected, a combination of both is a winner. Have a good night, God bless, and we will see you next week only on your favorite show, and that is Men.